Today, folks, we are a house divided. Oh, and already I'm too loud.
I'm Alexa.
And I'm Cadence.
And we're
Something Sinister Podcast. As I was saying, today we are a house divided.
Not really. Cadence is a poser, so it's okay. She didn't even know who the quarterback was.
I just didn't know who the fill-in was.
Well,
I know
he's a pretty big deal.
I know.
She still doesn't know, and I told her his name. So what's his name?
Hold on. I know he's a white guy and he's a redhead.
Uh-huh.
God damn it. I definitely know who it is. He's filled in before. He's the swing, as the performers would say.
Yeah, he's the swing.
He's their backup.
Right.
He's their shit. What is his goddamn name?
What's his name? Shit.
Now I have Amari Cooper's name stuck in my head.
Okay.
Anyways, today I am repping Mr. CeeDee Lamb, number 88 for the Cowboys because we won today. 10-25.
Yeah, she checked that. Like, she Googled that on the way here because she realized that she was wearing a Cowboys jersey.
And I knew that Alexa would question me, so I had to Google it.
Yeah,
I actually just Googled the score. I knew they were playing today because it's Sunday.
Well, they could have played on Monday.
You know what? Is this a sports podcast? I feel
she has a new name. Her name is Shih Tzu.
Alexa's making fun of my hair.
No, she's the one who said, "Do I look like a Shih Tzu?" And I said, "Yes, you do."
Guys, we're back to the short hair. You're going to hear lots of complaints. Get over it. Okay.
Yeah, she hates her life right now. But it doesn't look that bad.
It's actually not super short. It's just so thin. Anyways, what is this podcast today?
I don't know. Let's get started.
Okay, so
we are
any other
kicking
news?
Off. No, we're kicking off.
Wait,
what?
Shut up. I'm kidding. I wanted to say this at the beginning because now that it's officially fall, if you've ever considered buying the merch that we currently have listed, now would be the time. Like I'm saying, within a few days, because we are switching companies.
We are.
And so the designs are probably going to slightly change, but it is officially hoodie season and we've got some really fucking cute hoodies and crew necks.
We do.
So go buy them before we change everything.
For sure. You definitely should. And we have a promo code that you can use.
Yep.
Isn't it SSP10?
SSP10.
Yeah.
Something Sinister Podcast 10.
Yeah. So SSP10 gets you 10% off.
Yeah. And that's as good as we can do. So don't ask for more. Don't get greedy. It ain't Christmas yet. Okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
Capiche? Oh, that's it.
Okay. All right. So Something Spiked.
Yep.
She's drinking a Bud Light seltzer.
I said it's football day. I want a beer.
There it is. And I'm drinking a tequila soda with pomegranate. Same thing that we were drinking last time.
I wonder if this is good.
Yeah.
Nope, it sucks, but that's fine.
Does it?
No, it's actually not that bad.
Okay. All right.
Okay, guys. Excuse me. So real quick disclaimer. Our videos and podcasts are for entertainment purposes. All information discussed was found on the internet. Keep in mind, we will talk all things sinister that may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. And I'm just going to tell you this right now, and this is the only warning you'll get. This story is about children and gruesome. So,
yeah.
Funny little backstory from all of this is that I want to say I had heard of this, but when I read, obviously I started with Wikipedia and it was so like dramatized that I was like, there's no way that this is real. Like somebody came in and like romanticized the story, like fluffed it a bit.
Right.
And then the more I dug and the more articles I read, I was like, no, it's really, we just
You're
have.
like, no, it's real.
It's real, and there's a ton of information on this serial killer, and so I'm throwing a lot at you guys. Like we know a lot about this person.
Wow.
So, I'm drinking
excited.
word.
Yeah. I don't know who this guy is. So,
let's do. We talk about prostitution a lot.
So, do you want to use
and sex?
Prostitute. or rape or
I don't know why using rape as a drinking word
listen,
is like gets
we
me.
talk about rape. We do.
We
So-
talk about rape. Let's do
assault.
let's
Kill-
just do sex.
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 Okay.
Sex.
Are you gonna say sex?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say sex a lot. Okay. So sex, sexy, sexual, whatever. That is the drinking word. Okay. So today we are actually talking about 2 serial killers, but we're focusing on the husband. So we are talking about Fred West. He is known for the Gloucestershire House of Horrors. He committed at least 12 murders, not including brutal rapes, assaults, and other crimes, alongside his second wife, Rosemary, over a 20-year span. Worst part being is their children are also victims.
Oh,
So,
God.
guys, it's rough. So
That's
we are
sad.
officially in a new season. We are in the season of the Libra. So that is from September 23rd to October 22nd. My little sister is a Libra. It makes a lot of sense.
The littlest one? Okay.
Okay. And we're fighting right now. What's new? So from Ranker, by Madame Ruby, we love. Libras are charming, selfish, self-pitying, which is an important one, clever, and unreliable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Unreliable, huh?
yes, which also, like, all of these words really fit. I would say unreliable, self-pitying, and charming. Charming is also going to fit into the story. So,
Yeah, I'm like curious how charming fits into it, but
Yeah.
I'm speculating in my head.
this
so
story
I'll
is
just
so fucked up, guys. Okay, so born Frederick Walter Stephen West on September 29th, 1941. So exactly 2 years before my Nana. Lots of
Oh my
family relations in this
gosh.
story.
wait.
Yeah.
Wow, weird.
So just a couple days ago was his birthday.
Happy birthday, Nana.
Happy birthday. Yay.
Just Nana, not this guy.
No, not
Fuck this
Fred.
guy.
Fuck Fred.
Fuck Fred. You know, that's my skeleton's name.
Fred?
Yeah.
Well, you can think of this story every time you look at Fred now. So good luck with that. Okay. So, he was born in a small county in West Midlands of England. He came from a poor but very close family. And I wrote close family before I read how close his family was.
Yeah, the wrong kind of clothes.
The wrong kind of close. So they were very protective. It was a family of farmers. So it's kind of like everybody chip into the family, blah, blah, blah. His mom was overbearing, unattractive, a really rough woman. And dad was strict and also rapey. So
Ew.
yes.
Creep.
1946, so he's about 5. The family moves just outside of their previous county. Dad is still working on the farms as a milking herdsman and a harvest hand. And to kind of set the scene of how they lived, it's a cottage without like plumbing, electricity. Like we're
I mean,
talking
it's the
like
40s, so
farm poverty
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
So 1951, at this point, mom has given birth to her 8th child. So
What?
lots of kids in this tiny little 8. Yes, 8. Yeah. So good luck
Her
with that.
poor vagina. Oh my god.
And wallet, which
Yeah,
apparently
and
is
wallet.
non-existent to begin with.
Mm.
So it's mentioned that Fred is the first surviving. So at this point, there's 6 surviving kids. So I'm assuming there was also some death at a young age. I don't know, like
Yeah.
malnutrition, but I mean, it's the 40s.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if they are in a really remote like area,
Yeah.
I mean, they probably don't have access to like healthcare or anything like that. And I feel like
Right.
in those times there were so many different like diseases and stuff, and it wasn't uncommon
Yeah.
for children.
Wasn't this around the time of the
to
potato
die.
famine? I'm kidding. I'm so fucking with you.
I hate her so much.
So kidding. Don't ask me when the potato famine was, but I know it wasn't in the 40s.
Oh my gosh.
What if it was? And now I sound really stupid.
Yeah, right. I have no idea. That's something that I would not know.
Okay, now I'm getting anxious. So let's move on from history. So It is noted that Fred is his mom's favorite. And it also goes to show that every parent has a favorite. So if you say you don't,
I'm the favorite.
and I'm the favorite of my dad's. And like my sister has 2 twins and I have a favorite out of the twins. So like everyone has a favorite.
Right.
Get over it. So he's really close to all of his siblings. The kids are all disciplined. They do chores. They work on the farm, berry picking, harvesting, hunting, all of that. So all kids, including Fred, were taught a very strong work ethic from an early age.
That's good.
So Fred, at a young age, takes interest in petty theft. I'm sure one is a means to survive, but also it just becomes like an actual obsession.
Or a hobby.
Yeah. His classmates recall him being like, I mean, the poor kid, he's scruffy, sickly looking, in trouble. He is nearly illiterate. I mean, he's very uneducated, but he's really skilled at woodwork and art. But at 15, he drops out of school, starts working on the same farm as his dad. And so the secret behind his whole family is there's a ton of incest, which is really unfortunate. Fred later admits that his mom is the one who introduced him to sex at 12 years old.
First drink.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about the 40s. Like, we're not talking about the 1800s where
like you had to have incest to survive.
Yeah, or like incest was a thing. Like you married within the family to keep the bloodline or to keep the name or whatever.
This is the 40s.
Like, this is the 1940s.
These are civilized people.
Yeah, illegal at this time.
Yeah, right. So what's really sad about, he also was introduced to bestiality. So that was a popular thing within the family. They are just sex obsessed.
Ew.
Like that's just how it is. I don't know. Yeah, it's really gross. And this isn't even like the worst of the story. We're just getting started. Let's see. Incest was actually considered very normal in his family since Fred had witnessed his father also having sex with his sisters. They say that they genuinely did not see this as anything abnormal. So there are a couple of Fred's, I guess, brothers that later in life said that this was made up by Fred and it's all delusion and a lie. But everyone else that reports on this says that this is what, like, the family did it. It was a known thing.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it was a learned behavior.
Well, and they talk about it later, like, yeah, this is what we did. And so it's all really sick. So whether it's true or not, this is at least what was said by like everyone. So 1957, he's around 16 years old. Fred and another one of his brothers attended a youth club where he was labeled the country bumpkin for his accent. So by the sounds of like what happened at this like dance hall country club is that he starts attempting to sexually assault both grown and young girls, or grown women and young girls. So he saw these women as like for his to take whenever he wanted. So he wanted to go up and grab someone, he did. If he wanted to drag someone away by the arm, like he did. He's like, no, you're a woman. Like you're mine. Again, a learned behavior that genuinely probably seemed normal to him because that's how he grew up.
He's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why aren't these women wanting to come with me?
Right. He is aggressively approaching them, fondling them. If a girl actually agreed, they didn't get a lot of satisfaction because he's all about himself, very selfish. So again, it kind of goes back to the Libra thing of being selfish but charming and blah.
Yeah, but it sounds like at that point he wasn't really charming. It was more of like a forced behavior.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
You're going to do what I want you to do regardless.
You know, some girls like the bad boys.
Okay.
Okay, back to the sexual assault. So, guys, it's not funny. If you missed previous episodes, I'm sorry, you're missing the joke.
Yeah,
I don't want to explain myself every time I offend you.
You can just read the review from
Just
Karen.
read the review. Okay, so about a year later, Fred has a motorcycle accident which ended with a fractured skull, broken arm, broken leg, and a 7-day coma. So, serial killer, anybody?
Head trauma.
Okay, head trauma. He used braces for several months afterwards. He had a metal
Yikes.
plate in his head. One leg was permanently shorter than the other.
Wow.
Yes, and after this, obviously, he develops an extreme phobia for hospitals, but also starts having rage outbursts. So it's not.
I mean, the head trauma, that makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, and it sounds like he was already aggressive, but now we're
Right.
talking about like.
To the extreme.
Yeah,
Wow.
totally heightened. So 2 years later, he has another head injury.
Oh,
but listen to
God.
this. So he basically tried to grope this girl, and she pushes him off of a 2-story fire escape.
Wow.
Go her, right?
Yeah.
She was like, hell no, and pushes this bastard off of a fire escape.
Oh my God.
Like, holy shit. Like, good job.
And he lived.
Sadly.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are in 1961. He's 20 years old. Fred's 13-year-old sister comes forward to their mom and says that Fred has been raping her for the past 7 months and she's now pregnant.
Oh, God.
So just to kind of tell you, like, this whole Fred's delusional about the family's incest, it's like, well, he impregnated his sister.
At
so
13 years old.
yeah.
Oh my
I guess the brother was
God.
saying that the dad and the mom being a part of it was the delusion. But
Well, they learned it from somewhere.
right, exactly.
Wow.
So Fred was arrested. He admitted to raping girls since he was in his teens. But he, again, thought it was totally normal. And he even asked the police, doesn't everybody do it?
So again, a learned behavior.
It's disgusting.
That is so gross.
It's so bad. And he was tried
Wow.
5 months later. And even though mom did not support the actions, which is hilarious.
Yeah, she's the one who taught him, but okay.
Yeah, she decided to testify in his defense.
Of course she did.
Bitch. Okay, but thank God she
She's
came
like,
to her
oh,
senses.
but my son and daughter, they love each other
Yeah,
in a different way.
they're really close.
Our family is very close.
So it's sick. It's
What
sick.
the fuck?
But she did come to her senses, gave that fucking idiotic idea a second thought. She backed out last minute, refused to testify, and because of this, the case falls apart for him. The family disowns him. Mom disappears. Fred moves in with his aunt. Next year, it said that they kind of make peace with the family, but they were never really a family again. So that's probably for the best.
Probably.
Everybody just needs to move on.
Yeah, did sister like have the baby? Does anyone know?
It did not say.
Wow.
So I would assume she probably remains very private. A
I
lot
would
of
think
people
so.
in this story have remained very private.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you if you were part of that
Yes.
family and you're realizing like, oh, this isn't normal behavior?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Again,
Yeah.
a ton. The more I got into this, I was like, my God, like you could go down everybody's individual backstory and all
I
of this.
bet.
And there's just so
so
much.
much.
So 1962, this is just a year later, Fred reconnects with this woman named Rena Costello. She also has a past of petty theft and prostitution. So company meets company.
Mm-hmm.
They had met a few years back at that dance hall or a dance hall. So Catherine marries Fred in November, but she was currently pregnant with an Asian man's baby.
Oh my gosh.
So
Did he know this?
yes.
Okay.
He knew this, still agrees to marry her. She's done with the Asian man, but the family is not pleased specifically because it's going to be a mixed race baby.
Of course.
So they don't attend the wedding. The only guest was one of his younger brothers.
Wow.
There was a lot of like relocating for this guy, but Fred at one point becomes an ice cream truck driver,
God.
which is like the last job
that he should have.
that this pedophile / rapist should be working.
Oh my God.
So he is an ice cream truck driver. They explained the baby's mixed race by saying Catherine originally had a miscarriage, so they adopted this baby. Her name is Charmaine, born March of 1963.
Okay.
Charmaine,
yeah.
Charmaine. I would guess Charmaine. So Fred, at this point, like once he's with Catherine, this is where like the sexual advances start getting aggressive. He starts demanding sex regularly, and it just said, but not sex of the regular kind. So I'm guessing we're getting into like
like bondage,
sadomasochism already.
Right.
I've never had sex, so I don't know what sex of the normal kind is.
Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. Continue.
Okay. July 1964. I hate everyone. Okay, so this is like 2 years later. Oh, it says just over a year later. So whatever the date is.
I was gonna say we were just in 1963.
Yes. So Catherine has another daughter. Her name is Anne. I want to make this very clear. Her name is Anne, but there's several Annes in this story. So we're going to call this girl Anna.
Okay.
So Anna is the daughter.
Okay.
Anna Marie.
Is he the dad?
Yes.
Okay.
He is the dad this time. So former neighbors and people in their life describe Catherine as being a good mom, but she's struggling to raise 2 kids. Fred, on the other hand, is described as harsh. So we're going to start seeing behaviors of his father, but like a million times worse.
Oh, shit.
So at one point, he makes a cage out of the girl's bunk bed. So if you can picture the bottom half of the bunk bed, only he put bars up so that they like can't get out.
So the baby can't get out.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
oh my God.
Only letting them out like when they need to work. We're getting into the chores and like earn your keep around the house kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Not good stuff. So they hire a nanny, Issa McNeil. She introduces them to her 16-year-old friend, Anne McFall. Why? I don't know. She's just like, hey, you guys seem like normal people. Here's a 16-year-old girl. Bad idea.
Terrible idea.
So she ends up spending a lot of time with the family and sort of starts taking over the nanny duties.
Okay.
Fred later says he has multiple affairs, even having one illegitimate child with another woman. But that being said, there's something that's starting to develop between Fred and Anne, the nanny.
The 16-year-old nanny.
Yes.
Okay.
When Catherine finds out about this infidelity,
She flips shit.
she decides to have an affair.
Oh.
I mean, that's
She
the
wants to
healthy
get
thing
even.
to do.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
You fuck around on me, I fuck with you. Okay, so
But not
lovely.
with you, with someone else.
With someone else. So this guy's name is John. Fred even finds the two of them together.
Oh.
So lovely picture to walk in on.
Yeah.
He punches Catherine in the face, which causes Loverboy to then punch Fred, who already
now it's like a brawl.
has several head traumas.
Oh my God.
Fred attempts to stab John, the lover, with a knife, which John punches him a second time so hard that Fred's like, okay, I'm done. Stop.
Like, I give up. I'm sorry.
White flag.
Wow.
So, and I put another head injury to add to the list.
Yeah,
question mark.
probably.
Yes.
He probably like felt his brain rock. He's like, oh shit, here's another concussion.
He's like, God
abort,
damn it.
time out, abort.
Yeah. So later, John is quoted saying he couldn't tackle a man, but he wasn't so slow in attacking women. And I think, honestly, I don't know a lot about this John guy, but what you'll hear from the story is like, I think he was genuinely trying.
Right.
But I thought that quote said a lot. I was like, oh, that's deep.
Yeah, no kidding.
So John continues his relationship with Catherine, but begins to notice I guess he's
weird shit in the family.
I guess he understands that like she's married. I'm assuming because
obviously.
he would come to her or whatever, and he starts noticing more bruising, especially on her face.
Oh shit!
Like more attacks, and so blah, 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 blah. What does he do? about this. He beats the fuck out of Fred again. So once he witnessed Fred strike his own daughter across the face when she asked for an ice cream from the van. So anything that John witnessed or noticed, he would immediately go to Fred and just beat the living fuck out of him. So good for you, John.
Yeah, good job, John.
Yeah. Wish you would have just left with them, but we'll get to that. So
yeah.
We are in November 1965. Update: Fred is only 24 years old at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's young.
Yeah, he's still a young little tot, and he's getting himself into some deep shit.
Yeah.
So Fred genuinely accidentally runs over like a 4-year-old boy and kills him.
Oh my God.
And from everything, it's like, no, this was a genuine accident. But he does. He was cleared of any wrongdoing, but worried the community wouldn't see it that way because of his job and his reputation.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like he's a psychopath.
Exactly. So he takes the kids, they move, just him and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So follow me on this because this gets a little like kind of crazy.
Okay.
Catherine joins them a year later. I don't know why this Catherine chick ever thinks it's a good idea to leave her kids with this man, but she does several times.
Oh my God.
But
and for a year.
Yes. And so when she rejoins him, she brings along the nanny and Anne, the nanny's 16, 17, however old she is now, friend.
Okay.
So all of them are living in this like camper. And Fred finds work as a semi-truck driver for a slaughterhouse.
This is bad.
Yeah,
this is getting bad.
Yeah. So into this, like a year into this, he's becoming more violent, sexually sadistic, dominant, controlling over all of the women. But Catherine and the nanny do take most of the heat in all of this. Why? Because he's secretly in love with Anne.
Right.
So he would attack and sexually abuse his daughter, Charmaine. This is the half Asian girl, keep in mind.
God.
He's abusing her and then encouraging Catherine to pimp her out so that they could have more money and not have to live in a fucking van.
Oh my God. Instead of you getting another job, you want to pimp out your daughter. I mean, technically it's not even his daughter. It's her daughter, but he raised her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And she's a child.
Exactly. No, she's like a baby. Let's see. She was born in what year with it? Was
63,
it 63?
Yeah.
So she's only 3-4 years old. It's so sad.
Oh my
it's
God.
Sick. So Catherine calls up John to the rescue, says, hey, get us the fuck out of here. So they all come up with a plan to get everybody out of the house, except Anne, because at this point, Catherine's kind of seeing what's going on.
Right.
She's madly in love with Fred. So they have this secretly scheduled meet time to escape, but guess who shows up? Fucking Fred. So Anne kind of spilled the beans on this.
She was like, oh, by the way, they are planning on leaving. Yeah. So
one good thing is John once again beats the fuck out of Fred at this meetup. So Fred just can't get enough.
Why didn't John just like end it?
Like just choke him out and kill him.
I don't condone like murder, but like this man should have died a long time ago. He has like 9 lives.
Yeah, he does.
9 lives.
So what's really sad about all of this is the police are called. Catherine, John, the nanny, and I think maybe the nanny's boyfriend, there was like another guy that was there. They are able to leave, but they can't take the kids. And Anne remains calm as she informs her nanny friend that she'll be staying with Fred
and the kids.
Fred threatens to kill Catherine if he ever sees her again.
Oh, God.
So she leaves. So the kids are with Fred once again. It is said over the years that Catherine attempts to contact and visit them often, but obviously Catherine
unsuccessful, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure. And again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know how strong these attempts were, but it
sounds
sad.
like she's okay leaving her kids.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't look good for her. It does not look good for her. So, all the while, Catherine is developing huge resentment for Anne, considering she is acting as the stepmom.
Of course.
She starts attempting, I guess, to steal from Fred and Anne whenever she's around. But she's arrested at one point because she gets caught, sentenced to 3 years probation. So like we're just dealing with a bunch of just fuckheads, honestly.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's
the poor fucking kids.
Yeah, that's what's sad about all of this is the kids. I don't really care about any of these people. So Catherine isn't completely done with Fred. Because
sounds like she's addicted to toxicity.
Yes. She kind of goes back and forth between living with Fred, living away from Fred. But at some point, Anne is from Scotland. She's not from where these people are from. She doesn't want to go back to Scotland. So she is asking Fred to
marry her.
Please divorce Catherine, marry me, we'll have a more fulfilling life. And so she really starts pushing this, like, so get rid of Catherine.
Citizenship in the UK.
So Anne was wrong. Dead wrong, some people might say. Because in July 1967,
he killed her.
Anne goes missing. So she's missing. She is 18 and also 8 months pregnant with Fred's child.
Oh my God. I mean, what did she, I don't want to blame her because it's not her fault. Like, but what did she expect? She saw Fred beat the shit out of Catherine.
Rape his kids.
Yeah, rape his kids, beat his kids, and decided like, oh, I'm in love with this man. Like, he's going to be so good to me. And then gets pregnant by him.
Yeah. Also keeping in mind, I mean, it sounds if Fred truly thought that like what he experienced in his home life was normal, I'm sure he told people. I'm sure he told people like, I got my sister pregnant and we all fucked each other.
Right.
It's sick.
God.
It's so sick. So back to 1967, a month after Anne had unknowingly gone missing. So no one even really knew she was missing. It was kind of just like, she left. So Catherine is back in the picture with Fred at this point. The relationship was seemingly better, but Catherine leaves again a year into it. Again leaves the kids with him.
Oh my God.
And he would then himself go to place the kids in temporary care with social services.
Well, good.
So
that
he's
was
down
probably
on his
the
luck.
best place for the kids.
Agreed. Doesn't last long, but agreed. It was probably okay for a bit. So a couple years later, we are introduced to Rosemary Letts. So she is born November 29th, and she's a Sagittarius, which we've covered, but just as a quick refresh for you guys: impulsive, gets bored easily, hard time admitting when they're wrong, reckless. Crazy.
Okay.
I threw that one in.
So Rosemary is now going to be Fred's new lover.
Sure. We'll get into it.
Okay.
So right now...
Well, you said born, so I was confused. I'm like, wait, who had a kid?
Sorry, I was just refreshing because she's going to be part of the serial killer couple.
Got it. Okay.
Spoiler alert.
I'm like, is she a child, like a baby, or is this like
she
lover?
is a child. She's 15 years old when they meet.
Okay.
So we are dealing with a child.
So she is a child.
So Fred meets her after her 15th birthday on the bus. So it's suspected that he's kind of been scouting her. But she was at first pretty disturbed by him. Again, he's poor, he's unkept, he's dirty. But Rosemary, a little backstory on her, which we could do a whole episode over her. Like, I swear the information on these people is endless. But she came from a bad home. Mom, which we just covered in in one of our last 2 episodes, her mom went through electroconvulsive therapy while she was pregnant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. You want to talk about making a serial killer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And she did it for her depression. So she's got some sort of like prepartum depression. I'm sure some major postpartum, but she goes through like electric shock therapy while she's pregnant.
Wow. It kind of like reminds me, and I forgot to tell you, I started the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix, and it reminds me of like his mom. Yeah. And you know, that's clearly a true story that she had a bunch of mental illnesses, and whenever she was pregnant, she was prescribed all these different medications. Yeah. And I had read that she was even prescribed lithium at a time too. Yeah. And you know, so while she's pregnant with Jeffrey Dahmer, she's taking lithium plus morphine plus all these other medications It's like, what do these
first
doctors
off, anybody
think?
that's prescribed morphine
and lithium
as a means of curing depression
or curing anything?
Well, anything other than like major pain. Like, it's insane. So her dad is clinically diagnosed schizophrenic. He has also sexually and physically abused his family. So it's like so many times when you watch like interviews on these people, it's like it is a 1 in a million chance that these two met each other because they have such similar backgrounds that it is just crazy.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, that's sad. I don't have any other words.
Yeah. So, he charmed her on these bus rides over a couple of days. Again, I'm sure a lot of this was, what is it called? Groomed. So she played hard to get, finally allowed him one day to walk her home. He is super charming. Rosemary admitted to Fred that she'd never had a boyfriend, but I'm guessing this is in his terms, came off as very promiscuous. I hate the whole, like, she asked for it. Yeah. But when you hear about this girl, she's clearly asking for it when you get into what she does. Oh, God. So coming off as promiscuous, he went on to basically pity himself, which was part of the Libra description, self-pity, saying, I'm a single dad, raising kids on my own. I wish I had a larger family. I wish I had a mommy. So it's disgusting. So he kind of started courting her. He would do like secret admirer things. Like, she worked in this bakery. He would like send things in and be like, tell that girl that like this is from her secret admirer. And then he'd be standing out in the streets like all fucking dirty, like, oh, it's me.
Yeah, like throwing rocks at the window with the boombox. Yeah.
So it worked. She starts accepting dates. They start dating. Gross. So she starts looking after the kids who, according to her, were clearly neglected. So she could recognize they were neglected. She kind of steps into mommy role. She would, at least in the beginning, encourage like family outings or
dinner, maybe actually eating because they were neglected.
Exactly. So it kind of seemed like it was fine. So a few weeks of this shit go by. Rosemary quits the bread shop. She becomes Fred's nanny on the agreement that he would give her enough money to convince her parents that she was still working. Because keep in mind, we're still talking about like a 15, 16-year-old.
Yeah, so she's and this is in the from her
late
family.
60s. So again, it's not like uncivilized. Like, you got to go to school. You got to work. You got to do these things.
Yeah.
So he's like, whatever.
I'll do whatever for you, baby.
Exactly. Daddy. Okay. After a few months of this, she does introduce Fred to her family, and they were fucking pissed.
Yeah, they're like, this man is almost 30 years old, and you are 15.
Keep in mind, though, her dad is like sexually assaulting her and raping her.
So now he's probably jealous.
So I was gonna say, like, there's some weird shit. So dad doesn't approve of Fred. He threatens to call social services if they continue to see each other. So again, Rosemary is not like, she wants Fred. Like, she genuinely wants him.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
What a clusterfuck.
It really is.
Literally.
So, dad doesn't approve. Does she stop? Hell no. Her dad does follow through though. Calls social services. And they had also at this point kind of heard rumors of there being some prostitution that's happening out of the camper that they're living in. So Rosemary is placed in a home for troubled teens. She could leave for special occasions if she's supervised. But anytime that was granted to her, she is like doing everything she can to just escape and go to Fred.
Right. She's trying to run away.
Yep. So at some point, Fred serves a 30-day sentence for theft, unpaid fines, just basic stupid shit.
What happened to the kids? That 30-day period.
That's a great question. I guess placed in social services.
Yeah.
Social services.
Wow.
So he is released. Rosemary, who is now out of the teen's home, leaves her parents' house and officially moves in with Fred.
Ugh.
So at this point, she is 16. Her parents try to stop her. They can't. And then come to find out, Rosemary is also pregnant now.
Of course she is. Why am I not surprised? I mean, Fred is fertile Myrtle over here.
Yeah. Like Fred, stop.
Yeah.
So she is again placed into care, released on the promise. I don't know how this is like, I guess because it's the 60s. She's released on the promise that she will terminate the baby and move back in with her parents. But as soon as you hear that, what do you think?
Abortion.
Well, she's supposed to have an abortion, but my first thought was, she's not going to do that.
No, she's not going to abort the baby of the man that she's in love with and go move in with her parents.
Like, if someone,
of course she's gonna lie and say, okay, yeah, I will.
You forget? No. I forget what serial killer we talked about, but the courts kept doing shit to him like that. They'd be like, promise you're not gonna do it again.
Yeah,
and he's like, okay. And then he gets out and does it like 5 more times.
Right. It's just crazy.
How can you make court decisions based on a promise from a 16-year-old?
Right. Who's in love with a
rapist.
Yeah.
So she doesn't do it, moves back in with Fred, parents disown her. Good riddance. So 1970, she gives birth to Heather. And 2 months after she gives birth, Fred goes back to jail for 7 months for stealing car parts.
Oh, God.
So Rosemary is at home taking care of 3 kids. All of them at this point are being forced to call her mom. I'm sure she's super resentful already.
Probably.
So later, Charmaine and Anna would say they are often mistreated, beaten. It's not a good home life for them.
No.
And Anna, who's the second one, was Catherine and Fred's actual child together. She is the submissive child. It said that she was mind her manners. She did whatever she could to like not get in trouble.
Like the pleaser.
Charmaine, however, was very headstrong. She would putting her in a bad I was like, wait, that note didn't make sense. So Rosemary specifically hated Charmaine. So there are instances, I think that this is just insane. So we're talking about a kid at this point who is under the age of 8 years old. I think she was like 4 or 5. But regardless of the physical and mental abuse from Rosemary, Charmaine wouldn't cry. She wouldn't show signs of weakness. She would often look Rosemary dead in the face and say, well, my mom would never do blah, 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 blah. My mom would never say blah, 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 blah.
What a strong little girl.
It is so sad. Sad. At one point, a neighbor visits the home unannounced. And when they walked in, they found Charmaine naked and bound, standing on top of a chair. She was being gagged, and Rosemary was beside her with a wooden spoon. And they said what we can recall as Charmaine was calm and collected. How fucking terrifying is that?
Because that's all she's endured her entire life.
That's all she knows. And I think there was just something in her that was like,
this is fucked up, but
I'm going to piss this woman the fuck. I'm going to get beaten either way. So I'm going to make her mad.
Wow.
So sad. Hospital records show that Charmaine suffered from severe puncture wounds to her left ankle. And anytime these kids visit the hospital very often, they were always explained away. Well, we've got several kids. Well, we're poor. Well, this, well, that. Like the kids are outside playing on the farm, whatever it is. Like,
oh my God.
Hospitals are like, oh, okay, well, good to go.
Yeah, they're just kids.
Yeah.
No.
It's,
in the meantime, the U.S., you can't even spank your fucking child without it being child abuse. But anyway.
Yep. So
Cadence wouldn't know what spanking is like.
I had one spanking in my whole life.
I thought you said you had never been spanked.
I've had one spanking in my whole life. You want to know what it was for?
Last week?
Alexa, this is a family-friendly podcast now.
Get back to the rape.
Okay, back to the rape.
God.
Actually, fun story. I was spanked because my papa ran a tax business in an office that was like attached to the house. And so I thought it was so funny if I would like dress up as a customer. And I guess I thought I was convincing and walk in and be like, I'm here to get my taxes done. Well, one day I have a little Jasmine costume on. So really slinky little 2-piece. And I don't know, I'm probably 5 years old, like not appropriate.
Oh my God.
And he had customers there. And I walk in and I'm like, I'm here to get my taxes done. It probably looks so bad. And he's like, you need to get out of here or I'm going to spank your ass. And I was like, And he took me out back and whooped me. Good. And then my Nana threatened to divorce him. So.
Nana's like, you can never spank that precious angel ever
She's
again.
a goddamn Disney princess. How dare you? Oh my God. Okay. So we're at almost 50 minutes, guys. And we're going to end this episode on that note.
Oh my God.
We're not, but next episode is where shit gets real.
Oh God.
So this is a long one, but we had to set up everything. We'll either release this Thursday or Tuesday. We haven't decided yet. So just stay tuned.
Part 2 Thursday
Part
or
2.
Tuesday. We don't know yet.
Part 2 will either be Thursday or the following Tuesday. But we're getting ready to get into the bad shit.
Not like
as
any
if
of
this wasn't bad enough.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got so far in Fred West's Gloucestershire House of Horrors.
It is a house of horror.
Yeah.
Camper of horrors.
Camper of horror so far. We're getting ready to move into the house.
Yeah.
So, guys, welcome Libras. It's your season. If you're a Libra out there, leave a comment.
Yeah.
But please, as always, like, subscribe, rate, review the podcast. Please, 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 please. We're trying to push Marty's review out of there. Mm-hmm. So we need a couple of 5 stars to get past that.
We do. We would appreciate it.
And that's it.
Stay sinister.
Bye.